It's the third of the month. Your biggest client's invoice, the one you were counting on, is still marked pending. Your business checking account has $340 in it. Your quarterly tax payment is due in 9 days. And you're doing the math in your head, again, trying to figure out which bill waits. If you're a freelancer, a contractor, or you run a small business where your income shows up in unpredictable chunks instead of a steady paycheck, this video is for you. Not for someone with a 9 to 5 and a direct deposit every other Friday. For you, the person who has to build their own stability because nobody's building it for you. By the end of this video, you're going to have a system, one specific repeatable system, that takes your unpredictable income and turns it into something that behaves like a steady paycheck. Not because your income becomes predictable. It won't. But because you will be. This isn't about making more money. It's about finally feeling in control of the money you already make. Here's the pattern almost every contractor and freelancer falls into, whether they started last year or 10 years ago. A great month comes in. Client pays fast, maybe you land a second project on top of it. And it feels like you've made it. So you loosen up. New equipment. A nicer dinner out. Maybe you finally book that trip you've been putting off. Then the slow month hits. Because it always does. A client ghosts on payment. Project gets delayed. Summer or the holidays roll around and work dries up. And suddenly you're not thinking about growth, you're thinking about survival. You're pulling from savings that shouldn't have to cover this. You're feeling that specific, sick-stomach dread of checking your bank balance before you check your email. And underneath all of that, quietly, is the tax bill. Because unlike an employee, nobody is withholding money from what you earn. There's no HR department taking a percentage off the top so April doesn't blindside you. You are your own payroll department. And if you haven't been treating it that way, tax season isn't a deadline, it's a landmine. This isn't a "you're bad with money" problem. This is a "nobody ever gave you a system built for how your income actually works" problem. Every budgeting method you've ever seen, the 50/30/20 rule, the envelope system, whatever your finance bro cousin recommended, was built for someone with a predictable paycheck. You don't have one. So a system built for one will never work for you. What you need is something different, an income smoothing system. And that's exactly what I'm going to walk you through. Before you can smooth your income, you need to know one number, your baseline paycheck. This is the amount you can reliably pay yourself every single month, regardless of whether that month was a feast or a famine. To find it, pull your last 12 months of business income, every invoice paid, every client payment, everything that hit your account. Add it all up. Now here's the key move. Don't average it. Instead, take your 3 or 4 worst months from that list and average those. That number, the average of your worst months, is your baseline paycheck. Most freelancers make the mistake of budgeting off their average income, or worse, off their best income. That's how you end up broke in October because you built your lifestyle around the June that had 2 big client wins in it. Your baseline paycheck is deliberately conservative. It's built on your worst realistic case, not your best case fantasy. That means even in a slow month, you're not improvising, you already know the number, and you already know you can hit it. Say over the last 12 months you earned 3 months around $3,000, 2 months around $9,000, and the rest hovering near $5,500. Your worst 3 or 4 months average out to roughly $3,000. That's your baseline paycheck. Not the $5,500 average month. Not the $9,000 dream month. $3,000. That's the number your entire lifestyle gets built around from here on out. And it's the number that keeps you steady no matter what the calendar throws at you. Open a separate, dedicated business savings account. Think of it as a reservoir. Every single client payment, every invoice that clears, goes into this account first. Not your personal checking. Not your operating account. The reservoir. Then, once a month, on the same date every month, you pay yourself your baseline paycheck out of the reservoir into your personal account. Everything above that stays in the reservoir. This is the mechanism that actually does the smoothing. Right now, your income and your spending are directly connected. Money comes in, money goes out, no buffer in between. That's why a slow month feels like a crisis. The reservoir breaks that direct connection. It becomes the shock absorber. A big month fills it up. A slow month, you draw the same baseline paycheck out of it like nothing happened, because for your day-to-day life, nothing did happen. The chaos of your income stays contained in the reservoir. Your actual life becomes boringly, beautifully consistent. Let's go back to that $3,000 baseline. In a $9,000 month, $3,000 goes to you as your paycheck, and $6,000 stays in the reservoir. In a $3,000 month, you still pay yourself $3,000, but this time it comes straight through with nothing left over, which is fine because the reservoir isn't there to cushion every month, it's there to cushion the bad ones. In a truly brutal $1,200 month, you still pay yourself the full $3,000. The reservoir covers the $1,800 gap. You never feel that month. Your landlord, your grocery bill, your car payment. None of them know your income had a bad month. Only the reservoir does. Open one more account, a dedicated tax account, separate from everything else. The moment a client payment lands in your reservoir, before you do anything else with it, transfer a fixed percentage straight into the tax account. For most contractors, somewhere between 25% and 30% is a reasonable starting range, though your exact percentage depends on your income level, deductions, and state. This is where a tax professional can help you land on the precise number for your situation. But the mechanic matters more than the exact percentage right now. Every dollar in, a slice out, immediately. The number one reason freelancers get destroyed by quarterly taxes isn't that they don't know taxes are coming. It's that the money they were supposed to save for taxes already got spent on something else by the time the deadline arrives. If you wait until the quarterly deadline to figure out what you owe, you're trying to find money that's already gone. But if the percentage comes off automatically at the source before that money ever touches your everyday spending, you never see it, you never miss it, and you never spend it by accident. It also means quarterly tax day becomes a formality instead of a scramble, because the money's already sitting there, earmarked, waiting. That $9,000 month from before, the moment it hits your reservoir, 28% comes off the top automatically. That's $2,520 straight into your tax account before you even look at the rest. Now your reservoir has $6,480 to work with for your baseline paycheck and future buffer. Come quarterly tax time, instead of panicking, you're just transferring money you already set aside.
No scramble.
No dipping into savings.
No surprise.
Once your baseline paycheck and tax skim are running automatically, start treating the reservoir like it has a second job, building up a cushion equal to 3 to 6 months of your baseline paycheck. You're not trying to hit this overnight. You're letting the surplus from good months accumulate there instead of draining it into your personal account or spending it the moment it shows up. This is the difference between smoothing your income this month and having real, long-term financial security as a contractor. Your baseline paycheck protects you from a single bad month. A 3 to 6 month buffer protects you from a bad season. A slow summer, a client who disappears for good, a health issue that takes you out of work for a few weeks. Employees have unemployment insurance and sick leave. You don't. This buffer is the closest thing you get to build yourself. And it's what turns, "I hope this works out," into, "I know I'll be fine." At a $3,000 baseline paycheck, a 3-month buffer is $9,000. A 6-month buffer is $18,000. If you're setting aside even $500 to $1,000 of reservoir surplus a month beyond your paycheck and taxes, you're looking at hitting that 3-month mark in under a year. And once it's there, it just sits quietly doing its job until the day you actually need it. Every 3 months, sit down for 20 minutes and recalculate. Look at your last 12 months of income again. Has your worst-case average moved up? Has a new, more reliable client changed your floor? Adjust your baseline paycheck accordingly, but only ever adjust it based on actual, proven income, never on income you're hoping for or a contract that hasn't been signed yet. Your business isn't static, and your system shouldn't be either. A baseline that was right for you a year ago might be underselling your current stability, or it might be dangerously optimistic if a big client recently dropped off. This quarterly checkpoint keeps the whole system honest and current, instead of running on numbers from a version of your business that doesn't exist anymore. It also gives you a recurring moment to actually see your progress, which, for most contractors, is the first time they've ever had real visibility into their own financial trajectory. Say 6 months in, your worst-case months have climbed from $3,000 to $4,200 because you picked up a steady retainer client. That's not a fluke, that's proven. You raise your baseline paycheck to $4,200. Your lifestyle gets to grow with your actual stability, not with a hope, not with a guess, with proof. I want to tell you about a copywriter I'll call Maya, a freelancer who came to this exact framework after 2 straight years of financial whiplash. She'd have a $12,000 month and feel unstoppable, then a $1,800 month 3 weeks later and feel like the whole thing was falling apart. She dreaded opening her tax software every April because she never knew what number was about to hit her. She didn't change a single client. She didn't raise her rates. She didn't hustle harder. She just built the reservoir, calculated her baseline off her worst months, and automated her tax skim the moment money landed. 6 months later, her actual day-to-day life, her bills, her spending, her sense of "am I okay this month?" looked completely identical whether that month brought in $2,000 or $10,000. The chaos was still happening. It just wasn't happening to her anymore. It was happening in the reservoir where it belonged. That's the shift. Your income as a contractor may never be predictable, but your life absolutely can be. Let's bring it back together. Calculate your baseline paycheck off your worst months, not your best. Route every payment through a reservoir account before it touches your life. Skim your taxes automatically at the source the moment money comes in. Build a real buffer 3 to 6 months deep. And revisit the whole system every quarter so it grows with you. This is what it means to run your freelance work like an actual business, instead of a series of unpredictable gigs you're white-knuckling your way through. You're not just someone who does client work anymore. You're someone who has built infrastructure underneath that client work, infrastructure that keeps standing even when any single client, any single month doesn't. If this gave you some breathing room just thinking about it, do me a favor and hit subscribe. This channel is built entirely around helping freelancers and small business owners feel in control of money, not panicked by it. And before you go, drop a comment and tell me, what's your baseline paycheck number? Say it out loud. Put it in the comments. Make it real. I read every one. Next video, I'm breaking down exactly how to set your tax percentage so you never over or undersave again. So if quarterly taxes still stress you out, that one's coming next. Subscribe so you don't miss it.